Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
Oh, hello, it's Halloween special. It's the Halloween special. It's October 31st and we've decided to do the Halloween special for TerrorVision Horror Podcast. Welcome to your weekly dose of horror news and fun. This is episode 26. I'm your host, Dan McGuinness, and joining me as always is my co-host, Jennifer, the Dream Warrior Strand. Together we are two people with a love of horror and feel the burn of our obsolete blockbuster memberships. Ooh, VHS. You can catch us weekly on all major podcasting services and on YouTube. Jen, what have you done this week? Is it good?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
No. I just came back from a week off of work, which was fantastic. So I've had a week at work. So once again, I don't know what my week is. It's gone.
Did you just sleep all week getting ready for Halloween?
Yeah, I just go into like this dormant state of hibernation, and then I like re-emerge on October 31st looking like a trash panda, and I love it. It's great.
I like to think that you kind of cocoon and metamorphosis like a gremlin, and you come out and it's like Halloween at the end. Halloween?
I mean, every day is Halloween when you do it right, but yeah, I don't know. There's something about this year's Halloween that hasn't got me as excited, as pumped, but I'm still excited that it's Halloween.
I'm more pumped than usual because doing this horror podcast, it gives me it reminded me it was Halloween.
Yeah.
And I think because I I relaxed on my shop's like Halloween branding and pushing all that heaps. I didn't get burnt out by it.
That's fair.
So now I'm all psyched. And like last week I bought oh no, we're going to talk about that in a sec. Because we went to Record Store Day and I bought the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch soundtrack.
Oh, yes.
Which has my favourite boom, 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 boom on it, which is amazing. What else have you been doing?
Well, yes, we did Record Store Day. So after we finished last week's episode, I took you down to my local record shop, Underground Records.
Underground Records!
Yeah.
I bought a t-shirt.
You bought a t-shirt. I'd previously bought 2 t-shirts. And then we went in, we bought some records. What did I buy?
You bought?
I bought Sonic for my girlfriend, and I bought the Day the Earth Stood Still.
Day the Earth Stood
really cool.
The Keanu Reeves one?
Not the Keanu Reeves one, sorry. They didn't have it, otherwise I would have.
Right.
So yeah, didn't buy as much. Usually it's like a drop a fat stack of cash, but this one was a quiet.
It was busy there and stuff like that.
It's great. I love to see that it's super busy. But,
and sometimes you get overwhelmed when stuff's too busy.
Yeah, I always feel, because it's such a super friendly environment where you're just basically hanging out and chilling and chatting, but when it's busy, it's like my retail kicks in and I'm like, okay, I gotta leave because they're trying to work. You know, it's really weird when people come in and you're trying to work, but they're standing around having friendly chats. So it's like, I gotta get out.
You should pull your mic closer.
Pull my mic closer?
A little bit more. Anyhow, what did I do this week? I got into, I went deep researching on the internet creepypasta. Now, do you know what creepypastas are?
I do know what creepypastas are, yeah.
For those people who don't know what creepypastas are, because I had no idea, because I was listening to a podcast and they're throwing this term out, and I was like, what are they talking about? And I looked into it, and basically creepypastas are internet urban legends that primarily start in like message boards. So they exist purely on the internet, and they're usually stuff. There's a lot of them are based on video games. Mm-hmm. So there's one about called Drowned Ben, I think it was called, where a person apparently these are all true. Got a copy of Majora's Mask secondhand. When he got it home, there was a save file on it. Apparently, it belonged to this kid named Ben who died from drowning. And when he saved over the kid's game, the game started giving him messages like, you shouldn't have done that and all stuff like that. Total ridiculous fun stuff.
I love it.
But people have started taking it way too serious as usual.
Creepypasta, that's where Slender Man came from.
Yep, Slender Man.
So, and we all know what happened with that. Those girls that tried to kill their friend.
Yeah. Oh, that was so that was one of the creepypastas.
Yeah.
The ones where Yeah, it was like two little kids tried to kill a girl
Yes.
with a knife or whatever to prove that Slender Man was real.
Yeah, they were like sacrificing her to Slender Man.
Oh, so crazy. Yeah, now,
There's a whole
creepypastas.
documentary on it. You really need to watch it if you haven't. It's really good.
Yeah, I went deep into it, and I was just like, "This is
Yes.
amazing." I love this stuff, but like, I love getting into it, knowing it's all fun. But then I get jaded right near the end when I realize people take everything too far, and
Well,
just,
everyone takes everything too far and everything too seriously. Like, you got to take everything with a grain of salt.
there's the one I like was Lavender Town, and apparently in Pokemon, one of the early ones, there's a place called Lavender Town. There is a place called Lavender Town, and it was something to do with like when your Pokemons die, like the programmers made them die and come back into Lavender Town, like it's where your dead Pokemon are.
Sure.
And people were like, really solidified this themselves. I don't know if it was in the coding or whatever, but also Lavender Town's music, which I'll try and remember to put over this right now.
Yes.
Is very disjointed and weird, and that would just add to your confirmation bias and that this thing could be real. And I just loved all that kind of stuff. But it's really, really, really cool.
I really enjoy a creepypasta, and as I was saying just before we started this, like, we could always do like a mini-sode where we just sit and read creepypastas.
We'll just talk about the best ones.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole lot of consequences come out of them. I mean, creepypastas are just like, I can't remember that guy's name. It's like, what is it? I was trying to talk about it before, but
The Pizzagate guy.
Pizzagate guy, Keon, I don't know. He's a
That guy.
yeah.
That
Let's
guy
not talk
who's
about him. Let's
done
not give him
lots
any more,
Yeah.
fame. And apart from that, I just started Super Mario Odyssey again on the Switch because I was just like, I ran through that game really quickly the first time. Like, I didn't find anything extra. I just ran through it. And everyone keeps saying to me, it's like, it's one of the best Marios. It's one of the best. It's one of the best. Like, it's got so much adventure, so much depth. And in my mind, when I think back, I'm just like, I just ran through it in like 2 days. And I went back into it, and straight away I found like a T-Rex that I hadn't found. Like,
yeah.
in the first 2 levels. I only found the T-Rex when I got to bloody New Jack City, or whatever it was called. It's not New Jack City. That was a nightclub in Adelaide 90th Street.
You got to stop and spell the ruses in these games, is my understanding. Not that I've ever played a single Mario game that's not like a drunken Mario Kart thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Not a Mario lady.
I'm not really like a video game. Like, I like video games. I play certain video games, but my childhood was not full of like Pokemon. My childhood was not full of Mario.
Mine was full of Mario. It wasn't full of Pokemon.
Yeah. So
Anyhow.
none of that for me.
Right, let's move on to horror news. Yes, each week me and Jen take you through the horror news you need to know about. Welcome to Horror News, Halloween edition.
Yes. So our first news is near and dear to my heart, and at least 4 people have contacted me regarding this.
I think today at least 4 people also on the internet care.
No, lots of people care. So Ginger Snaps, the 1999 werewolf lady movie, it's getting new life as a television series. Yes. Do you know, honestly, I've been thinking we have not done a single werewolf film on this show yet.
Clearly we're going to watch just Jack Nicholson Wolf. Remember how boring that was?
Well, no, because I don't really like werewolf films, I've sort of discovered. They're not something I always go to. So all these fantastic werewolf, like I've seen American Werewolf in London. That's like the film.
Did you see Paris?
But I probably have seen Paris.
A lot of CG, but it was very cool.
Yeah, but I've not seen like The Howling. I've not seen Wolf. I've not like all of these werewolf films. I've never seen them. But
Teen Wolf?
I don't even think I've seen Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf 2? Is it Jason
The
Bateman?
one with Jason Bateman? No, I don't think I've seen those.
Yeah. I mean, my favourite werewolf memory is obviously the Monster Squad. Because they keep Wolfman and the Nuds. And to me, that's as far as I ever needed deep to go with werewolves. I mean, American Werewolf in London is rad, but I feel that what makes American Werewolf in London so rad is everything around the werewolf parts of it. Like his dead friend.
The transformation?
No, just like the werewolf was cool, but the rest, like, his dead friend that's haunting him the whole movie, like all the other stuff around just the core werewolf story, I found more interesting. Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah. Well, I was finally able to obtain a copy of Cursed the other day, which is Wes Craven's werewolf film. So there's
Oh.
a lot of stuff going on. It's like a notoriously terrible film because the studio burnt down and they basically had to reshoot it, and a lot of people that were in it were like, nah, I'm not coming back for that. But it's absolutely ridiculous. So we will be doing that. Cursed. Christina Ricci's in it, and that guy that I think is a piece of shit, Jesse Eisenberg, is in there. So yeah, super excited. But we digress. So
As usual.
Ginger Snaps. Don't know if you've seen it, Dan?
No, it was. I think it was made in my horror off season.
Yeah, so this is like 99. So basically, tells the tale of two sisters who are self-imposed outcasts in their hometown. It's a nice little Canadian film. So inseparable and fascinated with the macabre, they make a pact to escape their sleepy suburban home by 16 or else take their own lives. So I think the quote was, out by 16 or dead on the scene. Something along those lines.
Oh, God.
But on the night of Ginger's first period, she is attacked and infected by a werewolf, which unleashes a monstrous kind of puberty. So while she's experiencing her period, her body's changing as she's transforming into a werewolf.
Is this some sort of, metaphor?
Oh, yeah. This is a big old metaphor movie.
As in you turn into a rabid beast when you get your period?
Have you met women, Dan? Yes.
Who are these women?
Yes, we do.
What is woman?
The sister Bridget can't understand this new version of her sister who has become extremely violent and sexual. So this franchise is amazing because the first film was really good. The second film, it was good. And then the third film is a sack of garbage, but it's still fun.
Hot trash.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm very excited to hear that this is being developed into a TV series. So I'm not sure if they're going to do like the whole lore and whole franchise, because the third film is a prequel in like witchcraft times.
It reminds me of like, I don't know, I'm going to be like, like gender whitewashing here. It just reminds me of like The Craft, but just sidestep to the right a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
The
like,
werewolf.
It was like they had this whole thing like, oh, girl horror. Let's get all over this shit. And then there was a splur of like this, girly based horrors. Is there a transformation scene?
There is a transformation scene. Now this film is really low budget.
Oh, okay.
But what they've done and how they do it, because she changes, like her whole body's changing progressively throughout the movie. So at one point, her sister wakes up in the middle of the night and hears like her like weeping in the bathroom. She comes in and she's grown a tail and she's sitting there trying to cut it off.
Yuck.
Yeah. Just all these things. So like her face is gradually changing. She's like hair. It is the whole puberty thing. There's hair where there never used to be hair before. And
Yeah, my body's changing in ways I don't understand.
exactly. But instead of it
Tails.
just being a period, she's becoming an animal. It's a huge metaphor. We will definitely do this.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you'll
Oh, I will love it.
you'll love it. It's great. The gore's good.
Oh, that's all right.
Lots about it. So yeah, I'm very excited. Not a huge amount of information is available for this yet, but keen
Keen as a bean?
as I've been.
All right. I am. Well, as I said, I don't have much to say on this. Originally released in 2000 with Ginger Snaps. So made the millennium. Ginger Snaps 2 was 2014. They don't mention Ginger Snaps 3 in this article.
No, there's a reason. It's well, yeah. So Ginger Snaps the beginning, which is the third one, was released in the same year. So they basically came out at the same time. I didn't even know they were coming out. I just remember being in like Easy DVD one day, and there was the second and third one. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I very excitedly bought both and went home and watched them. And I'm like, the second one was great. The third one is trash.
Yeah, all right. All right, let's move on. What's next?
Great. So, Night of the Living Dead. Vivica A. Fox from Kill Bill. She's going to be fighting some zombies in the Night of the Living Dead remake.
So this is a remake of the OG black and white one.
The OG 1968 one, not the 1990 Tom Savini remake.
Which was basically a black dude fighting a whole bunch of white guys.
Yes.
And they've got her in. Excellent.
Yes.
This is going to be good.
So for those of you who don't know, like, in this version, it's pretty much the same. So amidst a worldwide event where the dead awake and roam the earth as zombies, a small group of human survivors struggle to stay alive and fight off the wandering zombies who are intent on eating them and turning them into the Walking Dead. So it's basically...
Must use term Walking Dead in zombie, like, synopsis.
Yeah, hashtag. That's how you get extra. That's marketing, baby.
Hashtag Robert Kirkman. Don't sue me.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, there's been a whole bunch of sequels, and after the initial trilogy came out, which I love that trilogy, you know, the Night, Day, Dawn, they're great. And then, of course, we had the all the remakes and all the sequels, they're in and they're out.
I gotta say, I'm not into the poster.
The poster looks like hot garbage.
Oh my god, it looks like
it looks like it should be on Tubi.
It looks like it was created on that free app GIMP.
Yes.
For your PC, like the Photoshop ripoff.
This kind of looks like, because I'm just slowly teaching myself Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like something that I still can't achieve, but would love to. This would be a highlight of my day if I achieve something.
Like, the poster is how do you say her name? Vivica? Vivica on there, and it's like, it looks like they've just added in some cuts on her face, and this is just like her promo shot of her, and they've like photoshopped her in front of a bunch of zombies, and then they've just photoshopped some hands in the foreground.
Yep.
And then just scratch the title on there. You never know. This poster may not be the you know.
This is probably some like fan art from 20. Like, I mean, this is not what Vivica A. Fox looks like now.
That is true. That's what I thought. Yeah, I reckon this is like just a mock-up.
Yeah, this is 100%. I will be really upset and delighted if this is the actual poster they have for the marketing of this film.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Actually, her scene in Kill Bill was one of my favourite scenes.
Oh, she's fantastic in Kill Bill.
But like her whole character, that kill, like, you know, as in like that whole block of it was amazing. And then when the kid comes in, and then Uma Thurman's like, you know,
if you're still feeling raw about this.
Yeah, when you're old. And that, well, I can't believe, because she's at age now.
Yeah.
Like, she's old enough to now be in, like, the little girl's now old enough to be in the film to do the revenge.
That's what they're doing. They're working towards doing this film.
And it's going to be called, like, Kill Bride?
Probably.
Or something like that? Yeah.
Maybe.
Because you don't want to call it Kill Bill. It's nothing to do with Bill anymore. It's like, what was her name? Kiddo. Kill Kiddo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's clearly what it's going to be called.
Yes. So it's going to be great. I think they wanted the girl from the new Spider-Man movie who played Mary Jane, whose name I can't remember, who is really popular right now. They want her as the girl.
But shouldn't they use that girl? Like the actual actress?
Is she still acting? I don't know what she's up to.
Well, if she is, like, that's a no-brainer.
If she is, she should be, but, you know, they want a big name. Big name celeb.
Maybe her feet aren't pretty enough for Quentin Tarantino. He's like, I don't like her feet. I'm not hiring her.
That's sad and gross. Yeah. She's still really young.
Is she? No, that film was like 18 years ago or something.
Yeah, I feel old.
Like, she would be like in her 20s now.
It's still gross. It's still gross to think that
Quentin Tarantino will lick her foot.
Who is in his, like, he'd be in his late 50s, early 60s now. So you imagine a 60-year-old man, like, thinking about 20-year-old girl's feet. Yeah,
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's him.
We don't want to imagine that.
It's true. Moving on.
Anyway, so yeah, again, it's currently in development for a 2021 shoot, and that's all the information there is on that. So we'll probably watch it. It'll probably be on Tubi. It'll probably be free. It'll be great.
Excellent. What other news has come out this Halloween week?
So Danielle Harris, one of my favourite Scream Queens, she is directing an all-female slasher titled Sequel for producer Joe Dante. So for those of you living under a rock, Danielle Harris is Jamie Lloyd from Halloween.
Wait, so the movie's called Sequel?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I got heaps confused then. I was like, what is it a sequel to?
It's everything. So Danielle Harris is well known for the Halloween films. She also came back for Rob Zombie's Halloween. She's also in Don't Tell Mum the Babysitter's Dead, which is a fantastic film.
She also did a a live reading with Ted Raimi.
Yes.
I can't say his name.
Ted Raimi.
Ted Raimi doing the script from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh, yes,
On
that's
October,
fine.
on the 28th.
Yeah.
A little just
Couple
while
of days ago. Couple of days ago. Yeah.
Which would have been a nice one to listen to.
Yeah.
No Tom Atkins, but
No, well, why didn't he come back? What was he doing?
dead.
He's not dead.
He got killed.
He will never die.
He's still yelling on the phone about like to turn off the
Stop it! Stop it!
to turn off the TV
Stop it.
station. He's just still there.
Yes. So.
Anyhow,
yes.
sequel.
So, written by notable British scribe James Moran, who has done Doctor Who, Torchwood, and Severance. Sequel promises to be a brash, unashamed spectacle led by an all-star cast of take no prisoner heroines and presented by a high-caliber lineup of filmmakers. There is currently no date set for the production, but Renfield anticipates that cameras will roll by the second or third quarter of 2021.
Currently, no date set. A high caliber lineup of film. That's basically just saying, yeah, we've had an idea. We rang our mate. We Facebooked him, and he said, "That sounds all right. Quick, do a post." It sounds like they are very far away from anything at the moment.
Of course.
They haven't even written
I think everything is very far away from everything at the moment. But producer Mark Allen stated, "Our team knew immediately James was rewriting the rules. It's like he combined Charlie's Angels and Scream together to get this entirely fresh subgenre of female action slashers. It's hilarious and adrenalizing. A dragon only Danielle can tame."
Is adrenalizing a word?
I don't think it is,
Excellent. I like
but
that.
I'm okay with that.
So the idea of this, is just the fact that it's called sequel. That opens up to me the idea that this is going to be one of those cabin in the woods, play on the horror genre. A Scream.
Yeah.
They've mentioned Scream. So I reckon this could go real genius. You know what I mean? Like maybe the film will rely on it is the second film, but there's no such thing as the first film, so they can
Yeah.
do all those homages to sequels of what they do in them, and it could be really, really, really interesting and really clever if they really get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think Danielle Harris could have something here. I'm not sure. I'm pretty certain she has directed stuff before. But she, her whole career is in the horror genre. So
the horror.
That's her whole career. Is just she is a Scream Queen. That's who she is. She knows horror. She's not just tapping in for a paycheck and tapping out again. That's where she's sat and she's happy there. So she knows what she's up to.
I was just trying to look up to see if she'd done any directing.
I'm pretty certain she has. I think she did
Prank and
yeah.
Yeah, so
Which I haven't seen either.
Prank.
Maybe I'll watch them and then I'll come back with another opinion.
Oh dear.
We don't know.
That's all right. So yeah, I love this idea of them playing on the idea of the sequel of a film when there was no film before it. I want it to have those. I always love a film that involves you have to consider where you as the viewer are involved in the story and stuff like that. Just clever filmmaking, but it can't be too clever for its own good. When it just becomes ham-fisted.
Well, that's been done before, so we can't be continuously doing that.
Yeah, so let's try and get that idea cranking, and it just seems like it might. Yeah, I'm going to follow this one. I'm going to look into this.
Yeah, we're keen. Everyone's keen.
We're always keen.
Also, I like that our news this week was all lady, all time.
All ladies, all day. Excellent, excellent. Okay, let's move into homework. Yes, every week, me and Jennifer set ourselves a horror movie to watch. And then the next week, we go through it scene by scene and spoil the fuck out of it for everyone. We pull it apart. We grab its, arms and pull them off and its legs, leave it as a torso, and then stick our dick into its mouth.
I feel that we take a film that you love and we ruin it.
Yeah, I really do, I keep finding, I'm choosing my films that I love.
Yeah.
And I just keep on just going, look how bad this bit is. Look how bad this bit is. But even not every part of every film can be perfect. So, and we just go, and when you start going through stuff scene for scene, you see the sticky tape that it's held together with and how loose it is sometimes.
Exactly. And I mean, look, Halloween
is what we did this week, 1978.
It is that film. It is held together with sticky tape and all this stuff. And do you know what? It fucking works.
Yeah, it was great.
It works.
Let's get into it. So, give us its short and curlies.
So, Halloween, 1978, directed by John Carpenter, screenplay by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, starring Jamie Lee Curtis in her feature role debut, Donald Pleasance, PJ Souls. It had a budget of between $300,000 and $325,000. And then the fucking box office return was between 60 and 70 million.
Cha-ching!
Yep.
That is a winner.
That is some dollar bills, yo.
Oh man, not even like $500,000 this film cost to make, and it made like at minimum 60 million. That's like they could go then and make like, I don't know, like how many more versions of that film? What's 300,000 divided into 60 million?
That's a lot.
Yeah, like.
But I mean, 25,000 of that I think went straight to Donald Pleasance. That was his, for 8 days of filming. He got paid $25,000.
He is in it a lot.
He is.
He takes a fair chunk of the screen time. Well, I'm not going to say 50%, but it will be close to that, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like,
and he was on set for like 8 days.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it was.
So they just filmed all his shit straight away. Because
Pretty
when you
much.
think about it, there's only one scene.
During the day.
Also, there's only one scene where he meets another character that's like kind of part of the story. All the rest could just be shot whenever.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah. So the scene with the nurse, and that was all.
Yeah, it could be done anyway. The scene where he's hanging out with the cop and that can be done at any time. It was only like the Jamie Lee Curtis stuff right at the end kind of stuff. Anyhow, let's not spoil our spoils.
No. So, yeah, like I said, this film had such a small budget that they didn't have money. Like, they were filming in California. This was not shot in Illinois. So, during Halloween, it was actually shot in spring or summer. So they had to go to craft shops and buy leaves and paint leaves and then spread the leaves around to make it look like it was autumn. But then because they had no money, they had to go and pick up all the leaves and reuse them in different scenes.
We forgot to say our rating system.
Oh, no.
Do you want to do it quickly?
Yes. Let's go back to our rating system.
So we have a rating system,
Yes.
Our special TerrorVision rating system.
Yes. So we've got A, awesome, everybody should watch. B, beer and chicken wing group movie. F, for fun and dumb. We've got a C, that is a classic that's worth a watch. Good. G, good for its time but has not held up. We've got the J, the Jen special. The D, the Dan special. We've got the W, whatever. We've got the S, which is shit, you should avoid. And we've got the McConaughey, which is the fucking fucked.
The more than avoid.
Yeah.
If you see it, you should sacrifice it to a lesser god.
If, basically speaking, if we give anything the McConaughey, just avoid watching it.
It's true. Just avoid it.
Just avoid
But then
it.
again, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation, everyone should watch to know how shit it is.
Right? Yeah, go watch that film and then come back to us.
Alright, back to Halloween. Let's start. Opens with the Halloween theme. You know, that
This
what is it? The very, you know, the John Carpenter on the bloody keyboard with one finger.
Yeah,
on the
his
synth.
synth wave. Oh my god, this is an iconic theme. This is the theme. Like, can you name any other theme? Like, I couldn't tell you the Nightmare on Elm Street theme. I couldn't sing.
Yes, you could.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
But this is like it's like I've always said, it's always harder to do something first. He basically coined what horror movie soundtracks were going to be for a long time. That whole synthy kind of minimalistic. I don't know a lot about music here, so I'm just going to say like stuff like high pitched, you know, like striking kind of thing, juxtaposed to like the credits coming up with a pumpkin,
Which is
just a pumpkin,
just a jack-o'-lantern.
That's it, a jack-o'-lantern, sorry. Pumpkin jack-o'-lantern. Just a slow zoom in on it.
Yeah.
And then you've got that thing, which I don't know if that was a real thing in the film, that when it gets to the very end, and it's just that shape, and that's kind of like a knife with, you know, Michael Myers' face.
Yeah.
Is that intentional, or do fans just see that in it?
Well, it's kind of like the movie poster. So if you know the classic movie poster, it's like the jack-o'-lantern face with the knife.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the hand, you can see a screaming face in that hand.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
You pick up on all these things as you're watching it, and all these horror fans, like, I mean, we don't have anything better to do with our lives than like really analyze and watch these films. So people are picking out shit left, right, and center that the filmmakers are putting in as Easter eggs for the fans. I love it.
Oh, I've lost the internet, but it doesn't matter because we're recording this show not live.
Yes.
So yeah, it opens to that. And as a play on the new Halloween when they redid that, and it was the same vibe, but the pumpkin decomposing.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. Like,
Yeah.
to see, because as I said, I'm gonna admit I hadn't seen this film. I had skipped this film. This was
That
my
upsets
first viewing ever of this film. So
Kind of wish we watched it together now.
yeah, well, I was looking at it with new eyes. I know what it represents within the horror genre, and so I was watching it with, I suppose, criticism, just going like, okay, this is where slasher horror started. This is the big birth of slasher horror. Let's see how it birthed out. Birthed out?
Yep, let's go with that.
Gushed into the world. So it opens in 1963
Yes.
with a POV shot of someone looking through the eyes of a killer, which I assume was the first time this has ever been done.
No, there was a movie which called Peeping Tom in the 60s. That whole film was basically shot in POV.
Yeah, well, that would have been horrible if this whole film was POV.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so POV shot of someone stalking a house. They come across a mask. They pick it up. They put the mask actually onto the camera, it looks like. So we have limited view, just seeing through two eye holes from out of a clown mask, was it? Or something?
Yeah, it's a little clown mask.
Little clown mask.
Yeah.
What's going on? We don't know. Why is this person doing this? Nobody knows.
It's fantastic. This whole scene, so it is basically shot like it's a long shot, but it's not. There's like 3 edit points in it. So like basically they're looking through the window at this girl who's making out with her boyfriend.
Yeah, dastardly.
Let's go upstairs. And in that time, like, they walk around, they go into the house, they go into the kitchen, they pick up a knife, and they're walking out of the kitchen towards the stairs.
This is a POV person doing this, yeah.
Yep, the POV person doing this. And this whole scene, this whole long shot takes 79 seconds. Think about that. So 79 seconds before you hear the guy go, okay, I'm leaving. 79. They've gone upstairs.
Oh, yeah, I thought that.
79 seconds.
Maybe...
Cool.
Maybe he just suddenly realised that the game was on and he bailed. Maybe
he's a one and done.
Maybe he doesn't have a penis.
Maybe he doesn't.
Ken doll. He was pretty Ken.
Who knows? Yes, he was.
So do you reckon this is the start of the rules of horror slashing? Although that you can't have... Because before this, there wouldn't have been like the kids having sex and getting killed.
This was like, there's no real rules here. Like, this is the film that's setting everything up for us. And I mean, I could spend hours talking about this film and talking about the history and how this film has like set everything else up. But I won't do that because everyone will get...
It was good because I knew it was one of the first to do everything. So seeing all these shots... And the weird thing straight away is what I thought is that these shots still look legitimately just like the shots that they're doing now. Like... The angles, like the thing. Number one, the one I watched on was like this beautiful widescreen, crystal clear version. It was such a nice, a Blu-ray or whatever they're called.
Yeah, yeah.
So straight away
So you were spoiled.
Yeah, straight away I noticed how nice this film looked. I was just like, ooh,
yeah,
ooh, very nice, ooh, very well framed. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, this is looking good straight away.
Yep.
Anyhow, so we see the boyfriend leave the house after 79 seconds of sexy time.
Oh dear.
Go upstairs. We see naked sister brushing her hair.
Yep.
Because
she's just sitting there naked, brushing her hair. That's...
Get the boob. Right. So it's number one, tick, boobs, done.
We've got boobs.
We've done it. We have all the teenagers in the room paying attention.
Oh yes.
We have the girls criticizing their own bodies.
Yep.
And we have the guys criticizing their bulges in their pants.
Yes. And then it cuts to, well, it doesn't cut because we're in a long shot. There's some stabbing.
Yeah, so she turns around and she's like, Michael, what are you doing?
Get out. And then stabbing motion. And then she gets killed.
We assume. And then it cuts to like family coming home, mum and dad. And
This
they're like,
kid standing outside in a clown costume, holding a knife, a bloody knife, and they're like, Michael?
so it's not
Michael?
from his point of view anymore.
No.
It's gone back to normal. And it's this little tiny kid, we realised. We didn't know that before. We thought it was just a killer. It
It's
was
like this 6-year-old kid or something. They take off the mask. We get this face of this, little blue-eyed, blonde-haired, sweet child
looking into the void.
looking into the void.
He is not looking at it. He's not moving. He's emotionless. What happened to him?
Nothing. The kid went on to become a real estate agent. He did no further acting. So that's what he was looking into. He's looking into his future going, oh, this is my life now.
But why was he, I want to know, was Michael before that night, was he a normal kid?
Well, no. So here's the thing. John Carpenter has stated that there is no information. So this film was not intended to have a sequel. This was a one-off
As a one, it was going to be just an idea.
So John Carpenter basically set it up as you cannot relate to Michael. We have no information. We don't know what his childhood was like. We don't know what he was like. Did he have friends? Was he bullied? We know nothing. We cannot relate to him in any way, shape, or form, which is what
Makes him
so
foreign.
so sort of like terrifying. Whereas like with Freddy we get a backstory. With Jason we've got a story. There is nothing. There is nothing for this kid.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And yeah, we cut to modern day, 1978, the year I was born.
Oh.
Yeah. I was coming out of a vaginal shaft when this came out. So yeah, and so straight away I was like 1978, nice. So, and we get a doctor and a nurse. All right, we're just gonna doctor.
Yeah. So we're introduced to Dr. Loomis, played by old mate Donald Pleasance. He monologues a lot in this film.
It's good.
So he's monologuing about Michael. So he's giving a little bit of information, but there's still no information about him as a kid. It's just like, I met this child however many years ago. There was nothing behind his eyes. There was nothing to him. He is just pure evil kind of thing.
He's a manifestation of just pure evil. And he's telling this to a nurse for some reason. They're driving to the facility that is holding Michael.
Yes.
And it was to move him, was that right?
Yeah. So they were basically taking him to a court appearance where he was basically just trying to get him locked up for the rest of his life. There was going to be no rehabilitation, no nothing. It was just like, you can't kill him, we'll lock him up. Put him away, do not open, throw away the key, that's it, he's done.
He's pure evil. He's beyond rehabilitation.
Yes.
So we get that, and all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of just what do they call
Inmates.
it? Inmates. Institutionalized inmates just walking around in the paddock.
Yeah.
And
right.
the nurse is like, well, they give them a lot of freedom. He's like, hang on here.
Something ain't right.
And then they stop the car, and he's like, stop here. And she goes, shouldn't I just drive out to the place?
He's like,
yes, you should have.
Yeah.
Like, there is no reason to
We
stop
wouldn't have
here.
had this problem.
So old mate doctor gets out. He goes to check something. And then we get, from what I know, this is an urban legend. So this is one of those urban legends where, the old urban legend where you're driving, that, I heard of somewhere around here there was like a mental asylum and the people broke down, and then remember there was like the dripping and the thud on the roof, and it was the head and all that. So you get this thing where like the dude jumps up onto the roof of the car and like thud, thud, thuds, and I went, oh, it's the urban legend. It might have been where it originally came from. This is 78. This is like way before urban legends, probably. Probably not actually. But, and I didn't pick that was Michael on the roof.
Okay. Yeah. So we get this, first glance of she gets a startle because a prisoner jumps over the bonnet of the car, which we will find out it is Michael Myers. So he jumps on the car, tries to pull her out of the car through the open window.
No, he smashes the window with his hand.
He does that
yep.
after.
Oh, okay.
So she, there's a bit of a struggle. She goes over to the other side of the car with the windows rolled up. We get this hand come down, smashes the window, basically pulls her out of the car. He jumps in, steals the car, drives off.
What does the doctor... Yeah, and then we just see Michael driving off in the distance, and then the doctor going, shit.
He's like, oh, fuck.
What does he do then? I guess he just walks to the mental institution after that in the rain.
He would. That's all he can do.
Then we cut to daytime.
Yes.
Where is it?
Haddonfield.
We're introduced to a new character, Laurie, played by Jamie Lee
Curtis.
I just got to say that she looked old in this film.
Liz was saying that. She's like, she has always looked old. I'm like,
And
it's
her
the
voice
70s.
is so low that she sounds like an adult.
Yes.
So she's juxtaposed to these kids that are probably her age.
No.
Wait, how old is she?
So here's a fun fact for you.
Oh, dear.
All my fun facts. So Jamie Lee Curtis, when she filmed this, she was 19 years old. She was the only teenager on set.
Wait.
All of the other girls were in their like early to mid
20s. Wow. So it's a flip on that.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were going to say she's actually older and
No.
playing a younger person.
She was the youngest one.
She still has Jamie Lee Curtis's sounding voice,
Yep.
that real low. She is string bean thin.
Oh, yeah.
String bean?
She's
like,
so thin.
she has like, what are they? She has no curves to her whatsoever. She is like that full 70s
She's a bean
look.
pole.
Yeah, bean pole. She wears cardigans.
Yep.
like,
And grey stockings.
yeah. So they've made her into the... It's kind of like she's just really not a sex symbol. She's trying to be
She's
just...
not meant to be a sex symbol.
Where the other girls are all like, they're all scantily clad. Not
Yeah.
scantily clad. They're promiscuous.
They are.
In how they think. And she's just like, no, I'm just going to babysit instead of do shit.
Yeah, I don't like one of her friends, so like we are introduced to a little bit later. So we get to meet the girls. So there's Annie and Linda. And I really don't like Annie, and I'm so glad that she fucking dies.
Good.
I love it.
So introduced to her, she is tasked with dropping off keys to Michael Myers' house because her dad must be a real estate agent and they want to sell it. She's cool with that. And then we get the opening of this cool, and then it turns into a period piece for me. And I was like, wicked. It reminded me of Dazed and Confused.
Yep.
It was well acted, and it was just like a window into looking at into the 1978 and how people acted and what they did. And I was fine with watching it even without the horror element.
Yep.
I was just like, I just want to see how people lived in. And it was, you see how they dressed, how they talked, like stuff was happening, and it just seemed really accurate to life.
That's what it was. That's what it's suburban, and then it's suburban horror because we've got this whole idea. Because that's what a lot of this late 70s and 80s horror was it was all suburban, because this was at like the peak times of the moral panic. So the horror, rather than being like a road movie or rather than it being like invaders from outer space, it's in your backyard, literally in your backyard.
Yeah.
And if you notice throughout the film, he just walks in and out of houses because nobody locks their doors. No one had to lock their doors back then.
Yeah, that's something I've put in there. So it starts with like Michael starts stalking Laurie's little brother at first.
It's not her little brother. It's the kid that she's babysitting.
Kid that she's babysitting. There's no reason for him stalking at this point because he doesn't kill kids.
No, he doesn't.
So why is he stalking that kid at this time? We just don't know because we don't understand him because he doesn't make any sense.
It's true. So she rocks up to the house. We're introduced to Tommy. She's babysitting him that night. And he's like, you can't go to the Myers house. It's the spook house. You can't go there. And she's like, watch me. I don't care. She goes up. And of course, this is when Michael's driving by. So he was clearly going home. He was going to his home. And she just happened to be there.
And that's it. He saw her at the house.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Well, I always thought that because she was at the house and he came home, he was just like confused her with his sister. And
Possibly.
so he has to kill her.
Yeah.
People. Or so, I don't know. So yeah, that was the other thing. Michael was just driving around town in a car. Majority of this film was set in the day.
Yes.
So like it only ramps up at night at the end. So you just got Michael cruising in a car.
Yeah.
Like he's got his mask on.
Yep.
He's got his gear on. He looks like Michael Myers, but it is Halloween, so you can get away with like looking like a weirdo.
Convenient. This film was actually meant to be set over like a 3-day period, but time and budgetary constraints, they basically sort of went, well, shit, okay, well, how are we going to do this? Well, what's the scariest night of the year? Halloween. Bam. One night. Done.
Oh, so it wasn't even going to be in Halloween. It was just going to be a crazy guy. That's good. But yeah, the idea of him just driving around, and there was just heaps of shots of like a car driving past in the background or foreground, and just people looking at it, and just him just like with his hand on the wheel, just looking at them and driving. Like there's, I'm like, what is this Hindley Street on a Friday night? Just cruising.
The only thing he needed was his like doof doof music, just like.
Someone should just edit that into it, like for YouTube videos.
I'm sure someone somewhere has.
Yeah, Michael.
It's the Halloween theme that just turned up with real bass.
So that's the first thing I noticed, is that, like, usually with these, like, slasher films, the main baddie or slasher is kind of more hidden. He makes a real effort to not be seen. Michael did not care if people saw him in this. He was just standing out on the street a lot of the time. He was just anywhere. He was like, you were, there were two characters having a conversation, and he's just in the background.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's in the background. He's just standing there, just in the day on the footpath.
Yeah. Like, he's outside of the school. Like, she's sitting in school, like, learning shit. She looks out the window. He's just standing there.
Looking at her. Doesn't care.
No one's gonna... It's Halloween. Okay, no one's gonna question it.
Yeah. It's like he doesn't even know that he's kind of, like, haunting her or fearing her. He's just checking her out. He's just like, look at her. I'm going to look at her. And you get all these shots of him, like, hiding behind hedges or in the clothesline and stuff like that. It's funny. Yeah, I just really like the slow burn of what's Laurie's day like.
Yeah.
How does
it's just a mundane day. She goes to school. She comes home. She goes to babysitting.
Yeah. I just really liked it, and as I said, it was extremely well cut. It looked beautiful. The shots made sense. There was no bad editing. The sound was good. Like, you just so none of those things put me off the film. And for a 1978 film, which is a horror slasher, I was expecting to have some bad cuts, dodgy audio, but this was just on like Poltergeist level of goodness, as in what it looked like.
Yeah.
There are some bits I didn't like, but we will get into them.
We will get into them. That's fine. So he's, like we said, she's at school. He's stalking her outside of school. Then all of a sudden we cut to Tommy. Tommy's at school. He's got his big old pumpkin because he's going to carve pumpkins with Laurie that night. Again, because this film was shot in California during, like, the spring or summer, there were no pumpkins around. It was really hard for them to get hold of pumpkins.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I'm pretty certain they had, like, maybe 2 pumpkins on set, and they're like, you cannot touch these pumpkins. They cost us a fortune. Just don't do it.
I wonder if, because whenever they showed a pumpkin, it was just the same pumpkin move to that shot.
Quite possibly. And then, of course, this scene sets up how they call him the Boogeyman. So Tommy's there, he's with his pumpkin, there's 3 bullies, and they're like, the Boogeyman's going to get you. Oh, the Boogeyman's going to get you, Tommy. He's
No,
like,
he won't.
He's like, don't you know what Halloween is? Yeah, we go get candy. It's like, yeah, that's when the Boogeyman comes and gets you. Of course, Michael's standing outside the gate watching all this happen.
Almost that nearly implies, I thought that almost gave Michael a backstory that happened to him. That's what I got from that scene, because he was sympathizing with the kid because he had been bullied, and maybe that's what I got from it. I don't know if that's what it is, but if John Carpenter had said, no, you know nothing about him, maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was just to bring in the idea of the Boogeyman, because they do keep referring to the Boogeyman in this, but yeah.
I mean, it's just super well done because, I mean, there is no backstory. We don't... And it is so unfortunate that the backstory for Michael Myers comes later on, and it's just really bad. The cult stuff and...
Oh, yeah, I don't know any of that.
No.
Then it cuts to the doctor. And
back to Loomis.
Yeah, he's back, Dr. Loomis. He's at a cemetery with some dude. It's this weird conversation about, like, the guy's saying some urban legend or something like that.
Was this where... So...
And Michael has stolen his mum's grave.
His sister's grave, yeah.
Sister's grave, sorry.
Yeah.
I've written mum up here.
Is this the one... So... Because I think that one comes later.
Oh, does it?
A little bit later on. So, because it cuts to Loomis so many times. Because Loomis is forever on the phone and warning people, and he's like, you can't, like, he's coming.
Yeah,
he's, like, on the side of the road in a phone booth, because there are phone booths on the side of the road in the middle of buttfuck nowhere.
There are in America, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Back in the old days, like, phone booths are everywhere.
Yeah. So he's on the phone, and he's just, like, trying to talk to the sheriff. He's like, he's coming. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I can guarantee
They're like, shut up, Tom Atkins. Stop yelling at me again.
This was Tom Atkins, but for Tom Atkins. And then, of course, he finds the abandoned truck, which has... So Michael's clearly killed the guy in the truck, because we see him in the
How
bushes.
good is it, like, he's making this trip from wherever to Michael's town.
Yep.
It's a road trip, basically, and he stops at a phone booth, and it just so happens, like, he gets out the phone booth and just looks like, What's that truck doing there?
There's a truck.
Yeah. I
Okay.
thought, oh, it's fine. It's an old horror movie. It's fine.
So then he goes and sees this old, like, it's obviously a mechanic's truck. The mechanic is, like, laying in the bushes off screen naked. So, he's taken the mechanic's outfit. Oh, dear. Like,
I didn't get that.
Oh.
Is that why he's dressed in... I thought his blue outfit was just the inmate outfit.
No, because if you notice, he was wearing, like, one of the inmate robes. So he's just in a...
Yeah, because at that point, I didn't know it was Michael.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just, like...
So he was just in a hospital gown, and he's found someone, he's killed them, he's changed the suit.
Yeah, because... I don't know if we'll get to it later. They talk about his mask as well. Yeah, so Dr. Loomis is like his whole... up until the point, his whole part in the film is just him trying to get to the end scene.
Yes.
Like, he's on a travelling Wilburys adventure. But yeah, so, anyhow, and then at one point he goes to a cemetery. I don't know why he went here, because he's like, I want to go see, what was the lady's name? Like, someone Myers, Amanda Myers.
Judith Myers.
Judith Myers. Who was Amanda?
Annie was the girl that I don't like.
Oh, no, Amanda was Amanda Kruger the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, last week.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, like he's just investigating because he knows this kid, he knows.
So he's going to all the places he think he would go to. So he goes to his sister's grave.
Yeah.
And he steals the gravestone.
Yeah.
And how good is the reaction to the guy? These damn kids!
Goddamn kids every year stealing this is that one gravestone that they'd steal every year because it's like...
Who's ever stolen a gravestone?
I think that
they're like a ton.
Well, yeah, A, they're really heavy, and B, it's so disrespectful.
Oh, it's
Do you
not
want to
even
get haunted?
disrespectful.
That's how you get haunted.
I've just never even thought about stealing a gravestone. I've never heard of a gravestone getting stolen.
No, damaged, yes.
Damaged? There was a lot of vandalism.
Yeah, but stolen,
stolen?
No. Like, I feel that is just a level of disrespect that just don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that, guys.
Next, so then we get Laurie and Lindsay.
Linda. So Laurie and Linda are leaving
I've got
the
a
school.
Lindsay in my notes.
Lindsay's the little girl. Lindsay's the little girl that she ends up babysitting because Annie shirks her responsibilities.
Oh
to go
no,
have
I've got all my
sex.
names mixed up. There's too many L names.
It's fine.
So who was the girl she's driving with?
So it cuts to the school. School's over. She's talking with Linda, played by PJ Souls, who, if you notice, says totally a number of times. She says totally 11 times throughout this film.
Totally.
Totally. So if you ever want to make a drinking game out of that, just drink every time she says totally.
Totally.
You'll feel okay after a while.
Glug, glug, glug.
So then we meet the rest of the girls. So it's 3 girls. So you've got Linda, Laurie, and Annie, who's a sack of shit. And they're just talking about, like...
Prom, boys.
Standard girl talk.
It was basically a Quentin Tarantino girl scene from Death Proof.
Sure.
It really reminded me of that. And I'm like, it was just a bunch of girls. But it didn't annoy me that much because it was really solidifying who each character was and their aspects of how they deal with sex and stuff.
Yeah.
And like who they are and who's going to get killed, obviously.
Laurie's clearly, she's the boring one. She's not really interested in that kind of thing. She's focusing on her studies. Annie and Linda, however, are just, they don't really care about school. They're thinking about sex.
Yeah.
Which is why they die.
So this is basically another period piece scene where we just get to see how 1978 girls hang out and what do they do.
Yeah.
And then I've got like so then we got introduced to the cop.
Yeah. So then we are introduced to Sheriff Brackett.
Which is, what's his name's dad?
Yes, Annie's dad.
Annie's dad?
Yeah. Is this the point where he's...
This is a bit where he explains to the Dr. Loomis explains to him about Michael, gives him the whole backstory of like...
Because there's so many... It cuts to Loomis so many times, and it's like, okay, it cuts to Loomis, he's outside the police office. So then it cuts...
I just cut out a lot of the Loomis cutbacks, because a lot of them are just like, they're irrelevant.
Yeah.
Well, we get it. Loomis, the whole film is looking for Jason. He's hanging out at spots he think he might come, and that's all he's doing.
Yeah.
Is it where he's hiding in a bush for ages?
Yeah, that scene's iconic. He's standing. He's like standing out just off to the side of this
Scare
shrubbery.
some kids away.
Yeah, I would.
Shrubbery.
Shrubbery.
So Yeah, we get a scene where Dr. Loomis is explaining to the cop, like, there was nothing behind his
He's the
eyes.
personification of pure evil. He's coming to your town.
Your town everyone will be murdered within the next tomorrow. There will be no tomorrow. I'm like,
Come on.
mate.
There's only 12 hours in, a night.
Then it cuts to Lindsay babysitting. I think we're already up to.
Yeah, so Annie's picked up Laurie. They're smoking weed in the car on the way to their babysitting job, and
and they meet their dad.
Yeah, so they're driving, smoking weed, listening to "Don't Fear the Reaper" by Blue Oyster Cult, and Michael's following behind them.
Yeah, he's just like really cruising behind them, doing doughy. They're doing what, laps. Lappies.
Yeah, they rock up to this
blockies. That's what they call it, doing blockies. He's doing blockies all until it runs out of petrol, I reckon.
Yeah. That's what you do. They rock up to where there's like this crowd. There's an alarm going off. It's like a hardware store that's been broken into. They're like, shit, my dad.
Get rid of the weed.
He does not notice that they're smoking weed. Like,
yeah, wind down the window. You just smell weed.
That shit lingers.
Stinky winks.
Or is my understanding of weed.
Oh, I've seen weed on television before and it stank.
Right? He explains that someone broke into the hardware store, stole some knives, some rope, and a Halloween mask.
Okay, the rope was never used.
No.
Like, there was no reason to... Unless they had a scene where they were going to tie someone up or something, but I don't think they...
Well...
Although there was... The boy was
Bob's hanging upside down in the end.
Yeah, but you never see any ropes.
No.
Or you never know
we can only assume that he's used rope for this.
That's true. But yeah, I thought it was weird that they mentioned rope and I never noticed rope ever in a scene ever after that. So he gets the mask from there, which is a William Shatner mask, isn't it?
It is. So, you know how the internet has ruined our lives?
With fun facts?
With fun facts. We've had this conversation before, like, there are certain things before the internet came along, like you'd just pick up this random information that made you seem really cool to other people.
Yeah.
And that was one of my random informations is like, did you know that the Halloween mask was actually a Captain Kirk William Shatner mask that they painted white and just hollowed out the eyes a little bit more and took out the eyebrows? And people would be like, really? I didn't know that.
And it had hair as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't look it up. You told me.
See, these are all my fun facts, and you just Google anything on the internet now. You know everything in 5 seconds. I don't look cool anymore. I just look like a chump.
We still got our horror ones.
It's true.
So yeah. So then we what do we do now? Because there's a part where they're watching The Thing I've written in here.
Yes. So basically, we set up for this whole like they're babysitting. Annie's babysitting three doors down from Laurie.
Across the road.
Yeah.
I'm like that. So you got two teenage girls, right?
Yeah.
Both babysitting across the road from each other. Why wouldn't you just do it in one house?
Well, as we know, because they were having their lady chats. So Laurie's looking after Tommy, and Annie is preparing for Linda and Bob to come over so that they can fuck around in the house.
Yeah, some weird ideas.
It's basically like I'm babysitting your
someone
kids
else's
so that I can
house.
have sex in your house.
Yeah.
Which is gross.
It's what you did in 78.
Cool. That's fine.
Yeah, so we get like...
this has all been set up, so they're off in their little separate areas. Laurie's kind of a bit like, well, I guess everyone's going to have a good night but me. And
so we got... Yeah, and they're watching The Thing.
Yes.
Like the original Thing.
The Thing from Another Planet.
Yeah.
Which John Carpenter does later remake as The Thing.
And so her name's Linda, isn't it? The other girl that's across the road. So then Linda spills like 2 drops of liquid on her clothes.
Oh, this one's Annie.
Oh, Annie.
Yeah.
Oh, man, there's so many girls.
That's fine.
And I've got all their names wrong in my notes.
Yeah, Annie does a terrible spill of, like, she spills butter on her clothes.
Like a tiny bit of butter from the popcorn.
So she has to take everything off.
Has to take everything off and then has this lengthy scene of her trying, like, washing the clothes, like, naked, running around, washing the clothes, getting stuck in windows.
She's such a chump. Like, I legitimately just wanted her to die.
And she gets locked in the so they've got like an outdoor laundry, which was a thing in the early 70s and stuff like that, like outdoor toilets and outdoor laundries. She gets locked in the laundry. You can't get locked in a thing because you have the lock on the on the inside.
Yeah,
like,
there's something up against the door.
No, because the young girl just comes out and unlocks it from the outside. And I've written in my notes, how do you get locked into a room?
Yeah.
Anyhow, doesn't matter.
Fine.
She gets locked in because she's
Yeah.
an idiot.
Yeah, she is. She's terrible. I hate her.
And this is what I've written. Well, they're babysitting across the road from each other. Why didn't they just do it together? But now you've explained it. Laurie wanted to concentrate on babysitting, and she didn't want any sexy games.
No.
But yeah. Anyhow, then we get our first kill.
Yes.
54 minutes in.
54 minutes in. So Annie's basically like, her boyfriend's called up. He wasn't originally coming over because he'd been grounded. He's called up and he's like, come get me. We can fuck all night. So she's like, okay, well.
Yeah, fuck all night at this
For
person's
79
house
seconds.
that you're babysitting for. Which seems so faux pas.
It does. So she's like organizing. So she takes Lindsay over to Laurie. Laurie's now stuck with 2 kids. And Annie is gone off to go get her keys to get in the car. She gets in the car. Why is it all foggy in the car? Bam! Michael, from the back seat.
Strangled, like reverse strangle. Reach around strangle.
At least she did get a reach around that night.
Ooh. Yeah, so straight away I was like, okay, this is the caliber of what the kills are going to look like in this film. So I'm like, I'm not expecting any, like Jason Voorhees stabbing a dude in the back and then folding a folding bed up on them and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so this movie didn't realize the love of the kills yet that people were going to get. Like that.
No. I mean...
And that you didn't have to be creative. At this point, there were no slashers, so he didn't
Yeah.
go like, oh, I need to be creative with my kills.
It could have been more, but also because John Carpenter had done Assault on Precinct 13 and he had received a lot of backlash for how gruesome and violent the deaths were. So he really toned it down for this film. This film is still rated R, though.
There's no reason.
There is no reason for this film to be rated R because, I watched this film when I would have been maybe 10 years old.
Yeah.
And my mum had to come with me to the video shop to rent it because it was R-rated. There's no need for it.
Yeah. So she just gets strangled.
Yeah.
The end, which is basically just what happens to every kind of person. You either get strangled or you get strangled and then maybe a stab.
Yeah.
Which you don't see the stab either. It's always like a showing from another angle.
You
kind
can
of
hear it.
Psycho
you
style.
You can hear it happening. You don't see it.
So the first 54 minutes, I was still massively entertained the whole film up until this point. Like, which is nice to know that I'm not just watching it for the kills.
Yeah.
And you're really not watching it for the kills, this film. You're watching it, I was watching it for just like the coolness of what was happening. Yeah. Lindsay gets killed in the car, strangled, then cut, I think. Like, it was really awkward.
There is like a jolt. So
Yeah.
I am assuming she gets stabbed.
Really weird. It didn't really show it. Like, they probably wanted to do it a bit more full on, but thought that, oh, no, we should, like, really,
Yeah.
So we get some new characters.
Yes, well, Linda comes back with the new boyfriend, Bob. Also, before we do that, I kind of, there is a scene again with Loomis, just very briefly. He's at the Myers house with the sheriff, and they're talking. He does another monologue, but this is like the iconic Loomis monologue that is used throughout the other films as like homage to this film
When they overlay it.
So this is like where he's like does the whole spiel, the Michael Myers spiel. But later on, so before we cut to the Linda and Bob scene, because Loomis is hanging out at the Myers house, the 3 kids that were bullying Tommy from earlier on, they come up and they're like, do it, ring the bell. And he's like, the boogeyman will get you. And he's in the bushes and he's just looking at them and he just goes, oi, get your ass off their front porch. And the kids like shit their pants and run away. And it just cuts to him standing there with this like
So stoked.
little accomplished smile like, okay, I'm meant to be working, a lot of really bad things are happening, but that was really fun. And I was like, oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, or like, I saved those kids' lives. I'm the hero.
I am the hero today.
I'm the hero. If tomorrow everyone gets killed, at least those kids live for one more night because of me and my voice.
So we do cut back to Linda and Bob. They've come into the house. Annie's not there. And they're like, what the fuck? We should find a note.
Yeah,
and
so
he's like, let's make out on the couch.
Yeah, so Linda, what's his name? Bob? Bob come, who are visiting their friend who is babysitting someone else in a weird house. She's not there. And they're like, instead of going, oh, this is weird, let's go. They're like, let's just have a fuck
Like-
in someone else's house in their bed
Yeah.
upstairs. And then we get what may be the worst sex scene of all time.
Oh my god.
It goes for like 2 seconds.
It does. It's bad.
It's bad looking, and I was thinking to myself, I'm watching it going, oh man, this is the worst sex scene.
Yeah.
He rolls off of it and she goes, that was fantastic. And I was like, no, it
Totally.
wasn't. I'm like,
No.
does anyone in this film know how to have sex for
But I mean-
more than 1 minute?
They're 17, so yeah, they probably did think that was fantastic.
And it was 78.
Yeah.
So she's probably pregnant now. It's 1978. They
Yep.
don't know about anything.
So they're sitting there, they're having their pre-coital cigarette.
She has a cigarette. Yeah, straight up, fag out.
She's done.
Like
It's like, you should go get me a beer. Oh, I was just thinking you should get me a beer. And then, so Bob, gets up and...
Goes to
he's
get a beer.
And the immortal line, I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
He's not back.
No, he gets stabbed up by Michael against a wall.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty good. So this one was probably the best death. Michael grabs him with one arm, holds him up against the wall, and lifts him up so he's off the ground, implying that Michael Myers is clearly stronger than a normal human.
Yep.
And then he just basically just rams a carving knife
Straight
into him, and it pins him to the wall.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't happen, but it's fine. And then you get this amazing shot of just Michael Myers for ages
Standing
staring at the
there,
body, doing the puppy dog head move.
Yeah.
Like just
That
looking.
became iconic.
Yeah, so that I went powerful. I saw it and went like, who would have thought of doing that in 1978? He's
Yeah.
just sitting there. It's one static shot of just like this staring at his own work of this guy up against the wall, almost being perplexed on what is going on.
Well, just think about so the first time he killed someone, he would have been either 6 or 8 years old. He's been institutionalized since then. This is his first time out and about killing again. So he's killed. I mean, we can presume that he's killed animals and done that.
He killed the trucker man.
Creepy lead up, but now he's killing. So he's this is his craft now. He's like, I can do so what would happen if I stab this guy here? Oh, that's what's going to happen if I stab that guy there. Interesting. So he's probably just sort of having a bit of a think to himself, that's what happens.
Yeah,
Okay with that.
I loved it. I thought it was probably the strongest shot in the whole film.
Yeah, and it's an iconic scene that was used in Scream. So if you can remember Scream when they're all at the house party close to the end of the film, they're watching Halloween. These are the scenes, the key scenes that they're using.
Yeah.
So that was one of them.
Then we get Jason rocks back up to the girl who's naked still in bed, and he's dressed as a ghost.
He's Ghost Bob now. He's got a white sheet on and Bob's glasses, which is fantastic. It is a tattoo plan of mine for one day in my life.
I just feel that he wouldn't have done that. As Michael Myers, because he is nothing inside. He doesn't even care that you see him on the road and stuff.
It's true. It is a bit of it's Ghost Bob Psych Out.
Yeah, there's no. I feel Michael as a character wouldn't have the know-how to go, I'll dress up as him and stand and scare her, because one scene before you were just seeing the simplicity of his mindset, and the next scene I thought that kind of ruined it for me. I was like, oh no, he's like,
Well, it could be the possibility.
He's doing some comedy.
Because, while they were having sex, and I use that term very loosely, he was in the room. You saw him shadow over them. So it could be a whole...
Maybe he's like, I'm here, I'm Bob, now I get sex.
Maybe.
A simplified down version. He's like, if I'm Bob, I get sex.
Yeah. Or it could have been something as simple as... if I walk in there like this, because he's not going to go charging in, grabbing her by the throat and killing her. He'll walk in slowly. She'll see him coming. She'll get up. She'll jump out the window. There is potential for her to get away from him.
I don't feel he has I don't think he has plays like that in his head. His plans. Because as I said, he just stands in the middle of the road and looks at people.
He does.
Anyhow, we can ignore that. It happened.
It does.
Anyhow, she gets up. And then she basically just gets strangled with a phone cord.
Boobs. So she flashes her boobs and she's like, why are you standing there? Come back to bed. Do you see anything you like? And he's like, doesn't say anything. This is creepy. Fuck this. I'm going to call Laurie and see where Annie is. She gets up, still boobs out on the phone. And then he comes over and basically just strangles her with a phone cord.
Yeah. Once again, quite a tame kill.
Yeah.
None of the kills, apart from the stabbing, like they just don't look like they're getting strangled, these people, because
No.
they're not.
And of course, she's on the phone with Laurie at this time, and Laurie just thinks she's like, "Oh, great! Like
They're having sex.
now I'm just hear you having sex. That's not what I want to hear." It's gross.
So they're done. Then we get Dr. Loomis hanging out the front of like Jason's house, still in a bush. Looks over and just sees the car across the road, and I'm like, "You've been there for 8 hours.
That is so convenient. Look, there's a car over there.
There's my car. That
How
got
did
stolen.
I not notice this before?"
I know. I was like, "Come on, Loomis. What are you? Are you really? Do you really have a
I kind of think
PhD
he
in
was
anything?"
walking around the neighborhood at this point. I don't think he was still outside the mine.
No, he was. He was.
Was he?
Yeah, he was in the bush, and he's like, "Oh, maybe I'm gonna go." He took like 2 steps and saw the car.
Maybe
Like,
he doesn't have very good peripheral vision.
Yeah, true. Maybe he should have been wearing his glasses because he wasn't.
But also, like, as the cop rolls up, he's like, "I found the car. It's over there. I'm going this way. You need to go this." And the cop's like, "Okay."
Well, the cop was very dubious. He was very
Yeah.
skeptical on the whole thing that even Michael Myers was there.
So he's
And-
probably like, "Yeah, I'll go over there and check that out. And I'm going to go to the donut shop and get myself a coffee and some donuts."
Yeah, it was just he's I feel his relationship with the cop was quite. There was no need for it either. It never came up again. Like the cop never came and helped her.
No.
After that, so those whole scenes could have been cut. It could have just been Loomis hanging out,
Yeah.
like going, and then the police guy's job was to tell us about the mask that he got a mask from the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a lot. There was about three separate scenes with Dr. Loomis and police dad.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that were irrelevant, but that's fine.
Yeah. So then, at this point, the kids are in bed. Laurie goes to check on the kids, and then she goes to investigate.
See, this was super.
So this is like the last...
worst babysitter in the world.
When-
Leaving kids
yeah.
by themselves in a house.
But you could do that in the 70s.
Yeah,
She did lock the door, though.
She locked them in, so if there was
Yeah.
a fire, they all perish.
Yeah.
Oh,
Of
well.
course. So, yeah, she goes off to investigate. She goes over to the house that Annie's babysitting in, walks up the stairs. She sees Annie spread out on the bed with Judith Meyer's headstone on the bed.
Yeah, why did he do this? Is this another Ghost Bob? Like he's just doing pranks?
We
now?
don't know. We know nothing
Maybe
about it.
he thinks he's just doing pranks.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, Fuju."
It's trick or treat, Halloween trick!
Right? They're all tricks,
Get-
bitches.
Look, it's not really my dead sister, it's someone else.
It's-
Get it? Get it?
It's a joke. So she screams.
Yeah, so then we get this whole scene is just like, so basically in this scene, like she finds the girl on the bed, she finds the girl dead in the cupboard, and then the
And
guy
Bob comes
Bob flops
swinging.
down in front of a door. I'm like,
Yeah.
Did Michael set this up?
Yes, he set this up. Like, I don't know if he set it up for her, knowing or thinking that she would come and investigate, but he set it up for someone.
Yeah.
So even if it wasn't her who found them, it would have been the parents when they came home to find, like,
I think it was supposed to be the parents, maybe.
It could have been. We don't know. We don't know what his
Parents
mind
are
was
the
like.
people that put him in a mental institution.
True.
But yeah, all the corpses set up in ingenious ways for people to, and I was like, doesn't make sense.
Yep.
1978, fine.
So she comes out of the room. She's having a bit of an old cry.
Yeah, she's
and
worrying. She's like, fuck this shit.
There's like just this darkness behind her, and this scene is fantastic because he just kind of suddenly comes.
Yeah, because it was
out
it was
of
like a
the
cupboard that was
darkness.
open, or she's against the wall going, "Oh my god, there's
Yeah.
a cupboard," and it's darkness, and yeah, his face just kind of emerges from
Yeah.
the darkness, like really well done. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh god," even
And-
I hate that.
What's fantastic about this is this shot has been, praised so much in the filmmaking community, and the fact of the matter is they're like, we just didn't have the budget for lighting.
Yeah,
So all of this stuff just worked in their favor. The fact that it was just a little bit darker than it should have been worked in their favor because they just didn't have the budget.
fair enough.
I love it.
So Laurie runs out the house.
She gets stabbed.
She gets stabbed in the arm.
Falls down the stairs.
You got the worst stabbing. Like, it just looks so bad.
It just...
And then later on,
It's
it's
just
just
a
a line. It looks
Yeah.
like just a bit of lipstick on her arm.
It looks like the cut that they photoshopped on Vivica A. Fox's
Yeah,
face.
it's probably the same one. she runs out, and like no one helps her. This is the 70s. Like, I thought, like,
but again, it's Halloween night. She's a teenager running through the streets screaming in suburban Illinois. Like, they just look and go, "Oh, it's a fucking kid." Yep, no.
Well, she went to someone else's house, not like clearly distressed, and they like just turned the lights off.
They like looked at her out the window, like, nah.
I thought that was
It's
weird
fine.
because I always thought, like, in the olden times, everyone helped everybody.
No, I mean in the 50s maybe, but now we're sort of getting to a new stage of the 70s. There's a lot of fear, there's a lot of panic, there's a lot of shit going on.
And so she runs back over to the house.
And she's like, does this, so she can't find her keys. She's like, the keys.
Yeah.
She can't get in the house, so she's like throwing shit up at Tommy to wake him up, and he's like, what?
Yeah, he was probably like that. What? You lucked out.
And throughout the whole film, he's really good at noticing Michael Myers outside, but at this point when he's looking outside at Laurie, he's like, oh, there's not a guy walking across the street with a big old knife.
There's this, like, comedy throughout the film of, like, Tommy just keeps seeing Michael Myers, like, doing shit like carrying bodies around. And then he's like, look! And then people come to the window and there's nothing there every time. And I'm like, I mean, like, that's just lucky that he didn't get seen. And that's what I thought was weird, because he's just out and about doing shit. He doesn't try and hide. But it just so happens just the correct people see him at the right times.
Yeah.
And, well, he doesn't do that on purpose. He's just really lucky. Maybe that's his power.
Quite possibly.
Only the people that get scared see him.
So Tommy lets her in the house. She's just like, go upstairs, go hide. She locks the door behind her. She hides behind the couch.
She realizes the window's open, so she hides or something.
Yeah. And
So
then
she's like, where the fuck is he? He's
he
in the
kind
house.
of like pops up from behind the couch.
Tries to do a reach around strangle again.
No.
His signature move.
He stabbed the couch. Yeah.
I
Stabs
stabbed-
the couch. She's like, oh, I'm not having any of this. Stabs him in the neck with a knitting needle.
Yeah. Then he's out.
He's out.
He's down.
He's down.
Little does he know, he's just slasher movie rehabilitating.
Yeah. He's just like, no, if I just lay here for a minute, the pain will go away. It'll be fine.
Now, firstly, yeah. So then, and then so she runs upstairs to the kids. Kids, are you all right? And what do you know?
Yep.
Michael comes back. Mm-hmm. Apparently
He's like,
knitting.
you can't kill the boogeyman.
Or apparently knitting is not is not a choice of weapon in this world.
Well, okay, fine.
She should have knitted a scarf and strangled him.
Yeah. So she sends the kids off. She's like, okay, you need to go. Like you need
Go to your neighbours or whatever.
go to the Mackenzie's house. You call the cops. Call the fight. Call everyone. Bring them.
Okay, number one, why didn't she go with him?
That's a very good question.
Like at that point, I was like, why didn't she go with the kids? There's no reason for her to stay in the house. There's no one alive in there
Yeah.
anymore.
No.
So massive plot hole.
Yeah.
Like massive.
Maybe she's just like, well, I need to stay with the body.
Well, I thought that she should have said to maybe the kids like hide in the cupboard or something, and or call the police and hide in the cupboard so they're in the house.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, just so there's no reason. Because she could have just gone with them, called the police. Fine.
Yeah.
So there's this guy come and murdered, and all the bodies are all there.
Yeah, exactly. So the kids run off. She goes and hides. He's coming up the stairs. So she goes and
He comes
hides.
back. He comes back from his needling.
Yeah, as you do. So she hides in the closet, and then we have another iconic closet scene where he's smashing through the door.
That was very well lit.
It was. Well, it was closet lighting.
Ooh.
If ever you want to do anything, closet lighting is the way to go.
I heard that.
So we get a really good shot of his face. We can finally see the mask. It looks fantastic. She's just sort of sitting there with like a knife.
No, she gets a coat hanger and
Yes,
pokes him in the eye with a coat hanger. And I'm like, who would have thought of doing that?
Because it's, one of those wire hangers. So she's like MacGyvering that shit. She's pulled it down. She's like, unscrewing it. Okay, yeah, step.
And then he dropped his knife, and then she stabs him with his own knife.
That's right.
Which everyone knows is a baddie's weakness, is his own weapon.
Exactly. So
Then,
at this point,
it cuts to the kids running out the front. Dr.
Just
Loomis
screaming.
sees these kids
yeah,
and he's like, oh, that's lucky that, like...
convenient.
Yeah, so Dr. Loomis, he runs into the house.
Yep. So
and then Michael is strangling Laurie in the hallway.
the scene where she's sitting there thinking, okay, I've stabbed him. He's got to be dead now, and he just sort of sits up.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do that. My back just cracks and snaps. I'm like, yeah, he is physically fit, that guy.
I don't think it'd be hard to sit up, would it?
the way he sits up.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, there's no... If it was me, I'd be like...
It's like a right angle. Just
I
like
have got to, like, slightly turn to the left and, like, please help me.
roll around, put ropes. Maybe that's what the ropes was for. You just can't see them.
Yeah,
He's got
like,
them off out of shot, just pulling himself up with the ropes.
So he comes back again, strangling Laurie. Then Dr. Loomis comes in.
And she pulls his mask off, which I thought shouldn't have been done. I thought we should have left him as a faceless, empty shell of a man. There was no reason to show his face because it added nothing. And it almost, to me, like, made it less, like, scary. He was just this avo dude. Basic bitch of a man. Like, I was like, oh. Dr. Loomis shoots him 6 times. Basically, all of his bullets. Got no more bullets left in that gun, I assume.
Wow. It's a horror movie, so there is generally, like, another round in there that you didn't know about. It's like a secret round behind that round that you're about to let off.
Yeah, he gets shot 6 times. He falls off a balcony on the
Done.
ground. Dead.
He's dead.
Then they have a, like, you all right? Yeah, go back out there. Gone.
Yes.
Where is Michael's body? No,
I just like that she's just like, she's crying. She's like, was that the boogeyman? He's like, yeah, that was the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Body, gone. Done.
I know. I don't know. Was it that? Or was it, I thought the boogeyman isn't real.
No, it's like, was that the boogeyman?
And he's like, but he says it in an elegant way. He goes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid it was.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
He says it in the Dr. Loomis way.
Yeah. And then cut to credits. The end. Don't need to like follow on from there because he was never planning to make it another film. It was just like leave him thinking he's still out there somewhere. Or, is he wounded? Did he just crawl away to die? Is he
a
immortal?
one-off thing? We don't know.
So what are your final thoughts?
Fucking love this film. Like, I can talk about this film for hours, and there is so much history to this film that not just for the filmmaking, but for what this film has done for the rest of the horror genre. I love this film. As I've recently just revisited the sequels, so I've watched 4, 5, and 6 in one crack recently. And I gotta say, like, everyone, there's always the Michael or Jason. Which do you prefer, Michael or Jason? As a standalone film, I love Michael Myers. I love this film. As a franchise, it's Friday the 13th, hands down.
Oh.
But
I was never a fan of Halloween until recently. Coming into it with Halloween 3, which I didn't... I know it's got nothing to do with it, but I love that film. And then this one, I really enjoyed it. I thought the camera work was amazing. Every shot looked beautiful. All the editing was, like, superb. The lighting was really good. For a film that didn't have a lighting budget, I think they did really good. And I think that might have just fell into their laps.
Yeah.
Like, where if they'd lit it all, like, traditional, it probably would have lost a bit of its edge.
yeah.
And I suppose they did a lot of it in the day because of this reason as well.
Yeah.
The only thing that let it down were the kills were very tame. And it's not that they were tame, it's that they didn't even look like... There was a lot of strangling, but no one actually looked like they were getting strangled. And I thought they could have like maybe done it like from a different angle or something to show like... I loved, as I've said like 6 or 7 times, I love the voyeurism of looking at the 1978 of what this people lived like back then.
Yep.
Seemed really realistic, but yeah, I gave it a classic that is worth a watch, a C. What did you give it?
I also gave it a C, but I said that it is a classic that you must watch.
Oh.
If you want to get into horror, if you want to, let me just be elitist horror for a second.
I'll let you for 1 second.
Thank you. You need to watch this film. This is a quintessential horror film that everyone, like, not just as a horror film, but as a film. If you're into filmmaking, watch this film. Just go fucking watch this film.
I hadn't watched it. I feel like I have a horror podcast and I hadn't seen it. Now I feel like a turkey goblin.
Nah.
But that's all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're out there, if you haven't seen it, give it a watch. It's Halloween.
Yeah.
We had to watch it. We're recording this on Halloween Day, talking about Halloween.
I feel like, is it too cliche that as a horror podcast, we are recording an episode about Halloween on Halloween? And then I went, I don't care.
Hell no.
I don't care.
This is our Christmas.
Yes.
This is our everything. I just realised I forgot to choose a movie for next week.
Yeah. What are we going to watch, Dan?
I don't know. Why don't you do our housekeeping, and I'm going to quickly run off and find something.
Okay, guys. So while Dan's having a think about what we are going to watch next, you have been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. This was our Halloween special. We are a podcast available on all streaming services, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and wherever good podcasts are found. We are also available on YouTube. So wherever you might listen to us, please follow us, like us, thumbs up, subscribe, everything that you got to do to help us stay alive and well. We have an Instagram. You can follow that at TerrorVisionPod. We also have an email, terrorvisionpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to watch, if you want us to discuss anything, your thoughts, your feelings. We want to know what you had for lunch last week.
Ooh, you do. Now, have you ever seen Pumpkinhead?
I haven't. I've been meaning to watch Pumpkinhead.
Do you know how I chose? I went over to my Movie Maniacs action figures, and we've watched the Freddy, we've watched the Texas Chainsaw, we've watched a Michael Myers, we've watched a Jason,
Yep.
we've watched an Evil Dead, and the only one we haven't done with my action figure set was Pumpkinhead. And I'm like,
Great.
let's do Pumpkinhead, OG.
Yeah.
Now, I can't remember if it's 1 or 2. One of them has Lance Hendrickson
That's
in
the
it.
first one, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I still haven't. It was one of those, like, I'm pretty certain I've seen Pumpkinhead. I'm like, I've never seen Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
I'm keen.
We're done. So that's it. So next week, everyone, homework, Pumpkinhead. I probably wouldn't have chosen that if I wasn't under the pump either. That's a good one. And until next week, may all your dreams be nightmares.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween!